Okay, we are live, and I can't hear anything. Here we go. Normally, I get a sound that tells me I'm live, and this didn't. Okay, we are live. That tells me something's working. Okay, because we know it's not a show until I've done that, right? So welcome to So Get This. Tonight's episode is going to be about real-life supernatural experiences, and there's a big reason why I decided to do that today, actually. Hey, how are you? I see you. Now, I'm going to massacre this name. Is it Eyeless or Elis? If you could do the phonetic spelling, the phonetic pronunciation of how to say your name, I would greatly appreciate it. This is my video bomber, by the way, for anybody who's never watched my show before. Her name is Raven. She's my daughter.
Wait, why are you doing that again?
Because there are people that may not have ever watched before.
Oh.
And they need to know who is that girl standing behind you. Okay, so anyway, tonight's episode is about real-life supernatural experiences. And there's a reason why I decided to do that tonight. Eilish, thank you. Okay. Thank you, Eilish. Welcome. Her name is Eilish. It's a beautiful Irish name. Okay.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Yeah, love live TV. Yeah. Okay, so I moved down here to Tennessee a couple of years ago, and previously I was living in Jersey City, and for over a dozen years I was living in one house that my husband and I had bought. And some shit happened in there. Some very, I've had experiences throughout my whole life, but they were scattered here and there. This house was berserk. And it wasn't just me, my 11-year-old son Phoenix experienced stuff as well. And what really triggered this episode tonight is because yesterday I got validation on my experiences and what other family members have experienced in the house. So
I'm ready to hear it.
You're ready to hear it. These are all stories that you've already heard.
I know. From Grandpa?
Well, that's coming. All right. We're going to talk about what actually happened in the house to us.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So from the time my younger three were infants, so there's Jaden, who's now 13. There's Phoenix, who's 11, and Raven, who's 10.
Yeah.
Each one of them, when they were infants, were always drawn to this one particular part of my bedroom. The upper left-hand, when you're walking into my bedroom, the upper left-hand corner of the ceiling, they would always point and laugh and smile like they were seeing things. And that was from the time they were a baby up through, their toddler years. Couldn't make it out. I mean, Jaden was doing it and it's not like he saw anybody else doing it and he was mimicking it. I mean, he was doing it when he was like 6 months old, and there was really, and each kid went through this. When Jaden was 3, he pointed to that same corner of the ceiling and he said, "Ghost, mouth wide open, ah," and made this face, and it scared the daylights out of us. Another experience that terrified me was with this one over here. My husband worked nights at the time, and so I was always home alone at night with the kids. And around 2 or 3 a.m., like clockwork, every night, this one would burst into my room like she owned the joint.
Wait, who?
You climb into bed with me and go to sleep. She would just wake up in the middle of the night and do this. And so she does this, and I was having trouble sleeping anyway, so it's not like she really woke me up or anything. So she's now in the bed with me. It's like 2, 3 a.m., and she's lying down for about 2 seconds, and then she says, "No, no, no," and crawls to another part of the bed. Yeah, you think it's funny. Then it's, "No, no, no," and it crawls to another part of the bed. And this is going on and on. And she's about 3 or 4 years old at the time.
Wait, I was 5.
You were 5?
I think.
No, you were 3 or 4. You were younger. Let me
thought
tell
it was
this.
2010.
No. Oh, and here's your fairy necklace. Whatever. Anyway. So this is going on now for like 20 minutes. No, 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 all over the bed. And it was waking me up every 5 minutes. Well, not waking me up, but preventing me from sleeping. So I'd finally get to a zone and no, no, no. And I'd jump up again. So now she's at the foot of the bed. No, no, no. Hi, how are you, Alphini Cube? We are talking about real life supernatural experiences. And after I give you mine, I'm going to ask you to think about sharing some of yours if you have any. All right, so now Raven is now at the foot of my bed. She's about, and she's all curled up, in like this with a little butt in the air and everything. And she's screaming, no, no, no. So I sit up in bed and I reach over and I put my hands around her waist like this to grab her. So I grab her and I pull up and it's like she's nailed to the bed. I cannot budge her for the life of me. Pulling up. And then the temperature started to drop in the room.
Cold, right?
It got cold. It was comfortable. And so then I screamed at the top of my lungs, take off your ears, leave her the fuck alone. You can put them back on now.
What?
Okay.
Why?
Yeah,
Why?
I said a bad word. All right, so then when I said that, I felt hands here, and I got pushed backwards. And then I felt, it was like disoriented, but it was more than that. It felt like I was underwater. It was a very, very strange feeling. And then I reached up again and I grabbed her and it was like nothing. I was able to pick her up and everything was okay. But it was, had I not felt this, I would have said, okay, maybe I sat up too fast. But it wasn't that. It was more than that. I felt this. I felt the forceful push back. It wasn't like I fell back. I was pushed back.
Okay.
And so that's one story. And that was probably the most severe one. Another one, and I was on the phone with my oldest son, who's 28 now. And he had said, hey, Mom, I'll be home in 10 minutes. I said, okay. So for whatever reasons, I still have the phone in my hand after I just hung up with him. And I go right to the front door to wait for him. And he did say, 10 minutes. But for whatever reasons, I was drawn to go to the front door. I go to the front door, and the front door is like this. The basement door is perpendicular to the front door. So you open up the basement door to go down to the basement that way. So I'm at the front door for no reason whatsoever. And the moment I step over there, the basement door goes crazy. It's shaking and shaking and shaking. The doorknob is rattling, and the door was like I thought it was going to come off of its hinges. It was absolutely terrifying. And stupid me, let's open the door, see what's going on. Why is it doing this?
Mom, I have a question.
You wait until I'm done. So then I open the door, and I don't see anything, but this gush of freezing cold air blasts right through me. And then it was done, and that was it. But why did I open the door? Because I didn't watch Supernatural at that time in my life. I didn't know better. But I tried to debunk it. I did try to debunk it. There were no drafts or anything in that basement. I had lived there at that point, many years, and never ever had an incident like that before. Other things that were going on. My 11-year-old son is sensitive. So he was constantly seeing things. He was seeing shadow people. He was seeing ghosts. He was seeing different slices of time, if that makes sense. He was walking down the stairs in the house, which overlooked the living room. And he had a flash of what the living room used to look like before he was even born. We didn't have pictures then because we had just moved in. It was crazy. And then it went beyond that, it was, okay, this is what it looked like when, when we first moved in, and then this is what it looked like at a completely different point in time. It was very, very scary. He apparently saw my mother, and I hadn't any pictures of my mother at that time.
Well,
So he described her to a T. So yeah, just to give you some perspective, there was a lot of stuff in that house. And when I would tell some of these stories to people, they were skeptical, and it was hurtful because I know what I experienced. I believe my kids when they tell me what they've experienced. We even had investigators come in, and we vetted out a really good team to come in and do the investigation because I didn't want to get stuck with, like ghost facers. Although that would have been pretty cool, but I wanted a serious investigation, and I got EVPs that were mind-blowing. Their EMF readers were going berserk. They were able to see things that validated what we saw, and we didn't tell them what we were seeing. We wanted them to come in with a completely fresh, untainted perspective so that, while they're there investigating, looking for stuff, if it happens without any influence from us, in their heads of what it is they're experiencing. So the reason, with all that backstory, which I always get in trouble for because my husband always says I don't need to give so much backstory, but I feel like I do, to give the main idea more, make it more profound and give it more perspective. My father called me yesterday morning. Now, my father lives 2 doors away from my old house. The house is currently being worked on. We don't own it anymore. There are construction workers inside. And my father was coming back from the store, walking past my house. And as he was walking past my house, he said a construction worker came bursting through the front door outside, completely out of breath, shooken up beyond description. And my dad went over to him and he said, "Hey, you all right? What's going on? You okay? Do you need help?" And the guy said, "I am never, ever going back in that bleeping house again." And my dad said, "What? What's going on?" He said, "I was at the top of the stairs. Something was breathing on the back of my neck, and then I got grabbed, and then I ran." So coming from a complete and total stranger who didn't know anything about us, who didn't know anything about the house, who didn't know anything about anybody, to tell my father what he told my father, that gave me so much validation. And I just noticed my computer's about to die. Let's plug that in. Yeah, there we go. Okay. It was on 10%, and now I'm getting scared. But yeah, so that validation was very important. And that's the reason why I decided to do an episode tonight about, real supernatural experiences. So, Alfie, you said that you also had experiences when you were a child. Why don't you tell us about that?
but
What?
I have a question.
What's your question?
When you were trying to pull me out the edge
Off the bed?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How you take me out of there?
I couldn't at first because it was like you were pinned down. And then once I screamed at it to let you go, and I got pushed, when I was able to get back up, I grabbed you like this, and it was like nothing.
Well, once, I remember you were trying to pull me out the bed once.
Oh, okay. All right, well, we're getting some stories now. Okay.
It's, can I read it?
Yeah, you can read it.
The first one says...
Right here.
Okay, I'm actually getting chills about all of this.
That's Eilish, yeah. Scary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what does Alfinique say?
I used to see my grandfather at the time.
All the time.
All the time, and he died before I was born. Wait, can you read that?
No, I gotta do this. So when you say that you would see your grandfather all the time, why don't you tell us how that would happen? How old were you? And under what circumstances would you see him? Would there be any interaction? Was it, I'm curious about all of this because there's another experience that I didn't have personally, but my father had. And it is the craziest experience I've ever heard in my life. Also, there's a legend here in Mexico called La Llorona. She's like a white lady, and I heard her screams. Oh my God.
That's creepy.
That's giving me chills.
What?
You gotta let me talk.
Mm.
All right. So he would just stare like at the foot of the bed. Oh my God. And how old were you? That's terrifying. That's absolutely terrifying. Wow.
That makes me chills.
Yeah. So, while you're telling us about that, I'm going to tell you about the experience my father had several years ago. Well, my mother died when I was 7, and she died under horrible circumstances that I'm not going to get into. And you don't know any Mexicans who don't know supernatural stories. And Eilish is saying, okay, so Banshee or Woman in White now. I'm actually freaking out. Yeah, I've heard of both. Well, Supernatural's covered both of those as well, Banshees and Women in White. So anyway, my father's experience, my mother has been dead now since I was 7, so we're going back some time. We're going back several decades. And a few years ago, my father was alone in his room, and he heard a cling, like somebody struck a glass. And just for giggles, my dad said, Andrea, is that you? Nothing. Then he said, okay, Andrea, if that is you, you need to let me know now. Give me some kind of a sign that it's you. At that precise moment, his alarm clock started blaring. His alarm wasn't even set. He checked it, and it wasn't plugged in. It was on batteries, so it wasn't like there was a short. The alarm was off, and it still blared. So from there on, my father said that he didn't see anything, but he had an entire conversation with her in his head. He completely was talking to her in his head. He heard her in his head. He didn't have to talk. And he said it went on for about 5 minutes, maybe even longer. And then when it was over, he had a nosebleed. It drained him physically that much. It was very, very hard on him. But yeah, that I think is one of the craziest experiences. And then I remember feeling incredibly sad and jealous that my mom didn't come visit me, that she did that to my father. But you know, that's a whole other ball game. But yeah, and the reason why I say that is because Eilish, I'm reading what you're saying about you wanting to have a supernatural experience of your own, but at the same time you're scared. I think that, you know, it'll happen. You know, I mean, I firmly believe that there's an afterlife, in terms of, you know, there's another plane of existence, you know, obviously, I mean, just from my experiences, I believe it. But you know, some of, or a lot of what's on the show Supernatural is actually true too. Like, you should not be messing with Ouija boards or anything like that. Because you don't know what you're inviting in. Which reminds me too, when all of those negative things started happening in my old house, what I did do was salt the windows.
You?
And I did. See, you didn't know, but if Phoenix didn't know that I salted the windows, because I did it in a way that it was under the sill. Like it's hard to explain, but you know, when you when you lift open a window, there's a little lip on the very bottom of the window that you use to push up. Mm-hmm. Well, I put it under that lip so that he couldn't see it. Because I wanted to know if he was feeding off of, maybe he overheard me saying something, even though I was very careful to not talk about it in front of them. And when I did that, when I salted the windows, he stopped seeing things. It was when the lines were broken that he saw things again. So
Wait.
Alfini Q is saying, just last Dia de Muertos, Day of the Death, our visitors left fingerprints on the salt and moved the food around the altar. Day of the Dead, yes. Well, then you go. The whole thing's gonna be scary stories.
Is it that one there? Like I saw them. Like,
I put salt on my windows.
Why? I
saw things. Okay. All right. And Alfini Q is also saying you should clean the mirrors too. That's very important because mirrors are also considered in a lot of lore to be portals too.
But if you like break a mirror, it could cause a bad luck.
It can cause bad luck. Is that true? Do you believe all that? Do you believe that superstition? I don't know if I do because I've broken some mirrors.
I saw it in a video. When you break something, well, not like a when wait.
Here, get over here so they could see you. Okay. You're talking, so
I forgot what I was about to say.
You were saying when you break mirrors.
Oh yeah, and if you break it, it could cause a really bad luck.
Wow. So does anybody else have any paranormal experiences that they'd like to talk about or share? There's a saying here in Mexico, don't be superstitious because it's bad luck.
What does that mean?
It's an ironic statement because saying that is superstitious in itself, so it's pretty funny. It's just being funny.
Bad luck.
7 years bad luck, really?
What does that mean?
When you break a mirror, you get 7 years of bad luck.
Oh.
So when Sam and Dean broke all those mirrors in the Bloody Mary episode, how many years bad luck was that? Like
7.
5,000 because they broke all those mirrors?
I'm going mirror it. I'm scared.
Why are you scared? It's a fairy necklace. She has this beautiful fairy door necklace that she got for Christmas.
And do you want to tell the story?
You can tell the story.
But Mom, can you?
Well, what do you want me to say?
That you got this?
Oh, the fairies gave it to me?
Yeah, to give to your dream?
Yeah, I was dreaming about a fairy who had left a fairy door for me to make a fairy door necklace for Raven because it was important for Raven to have it. And
why?
Because you wanted to meet fairies, remember?
Yeah.
Do you still want to meet the fairies?
Yeah.
You don't want to fight the fairies, right?
No.
No.
They're doomed forever.
Yeah, they are doomed forever. They broke like 10,000 mirrors. Sam and Dean in the Bloody Mary episode.
Look like my face getting red.
Let's stay on topic. Yeah. So any other? Oh, I have another story for you. This happened a long time ago, and you've heard this story too, actually.
Wait,
oh wait, Eilish has something.
Text me?
No, I gotta do it. All right. I mean, one time, Raven, sit back.
Yeah.
I mean, one time I was walking my neighbor's dog at night while they were on vacation. It was dark out. So I was walking him, and he's a big dog. And I saw what I thought was an old man in a raggedy suit. And the dog laid down on the ground and covered his eyes with his paws and started to whimper. So I looked at him. But when I looked back up, the guy was gone. But I never heard any sounds. And it was fall, so there were dried leaves everywhere. So I would have heard someone running away. Was that a supernatural experience then? I would say so. Wouldn't you say so? Yeah, I mean, I think what gives it, not that your account, is not a valid, account, but the fact that you also had an animal with you. Animals are very sensitive to the paranormal energy and a lot. I mean, and the way you describe the dog reacting.
It's because you can tell by them is like whimper, like scared, and like it goes behind you sometimes and like look away and sit down and bark.
That's right. And we have 3 cats, And there are times where, I mean, cats are crazy in general, but there are times where they're just like literally, it may at first seem like they're staring off into space, but it's not like they're zoned out. They're fixated on something. And then there are times where they're doing that and then their tails get all puffy and they dart out of the room. Like, what are they looking at? What's happening?
Yeah, and I was looking at my our cat Maggie. She's a girl, and she was looking upstairs because she thinks she sees a ghost, but I don't see anything. And her tail was so puffy that she ran away.
Yeah, I've seen her do that quite a bit. All right, so Alfiniq is saying the same sort of thing happened to me at a hospital. I was spending the night in the waiting room and there were people talking and laughing like 3 feet away from me, but I couldn't hear any sounds. And then Eilish is saying, have you ever heard of lucid dreaming?
What does that mean?
I've never heard of lucid dreaming. And then Alfiniq is saying, I could hear the door from the main entrance of the hospital downstairs, but not what these people were saying. It was so weird. That is very weird. So do you think that that was a residual haunting? It would be interesting. And you can lucid dream, actually. I've never heard of that before. I have never heard of that before. But let me ask you guys this. Has the show Supernatural helped you at all with respect to your paranormal experiences that you've had? Yes, because before, I mean, we've had some pretty horrible, terrifying experiences happen to us, which I was explaining to you, but many of the things happened before I even knew about the show Supernatural, so I didn't know what to do. But because I know the show now, that's where I got the salt idea from, and it does work. I saw Alfiniq saying it's when you know you're dreaming and can control what's happening in your dream. I can't. My husband can do that.
Wait, he can?
Papa can do that.
What?
He can dream and actually control what happens next in his dream.
And I was seeing Papa doing something. I started laughing at him because he was doing something funny. And she was like doing this.
In his sleep?
Yes.
He was doing that in his sleep? Oh, you just outed him on the internet. We're not going to tell anybody. It's not like he watches the show or anything. But, so let me tell you about the story.
Wait,
from...
Did you say, I heard it before or it didn't?
I don't know. I don't know. Let me talk. You can interrupt me.
Okay.
All right. Alfiniq is saying that she'd love to see more Latin American folklore and supernatural. There's so much material there. Yeah, right? There's so many cultures that have, there's a lot of similarities in the lore amongst many cultures too. So it would be interesting to see different interpretations of those things. She's going to like blind me right now, just to see, what they do with it. So what I was going to tell you is when I was younger and pregnant with my oldest son, so we're going back 28 years, there was an episode about a Mayan god. That's true. Yeah, I wasn't impressed either. So we're going back 28 years ago.
20.
I was very, very pregnant. I mean, like pregnant to the point where like I just couldn't stand to be standing up. And so I was alone in my apartment and I decided I was going to take a nap. So I go into my bedroom, I shut my door, and I lay on my bed. And I was alone. There was no one in the house. I didn't have any pets or anything like that. I didn't have my head down more than 30 seconds. I mean, literally. And I felt the foot of my bed sink down and I heard the bed springs creak.
Luckily, I'm not.
Rave.
Okay.
So then I was absolutely terrified. I felt the foot of my bed sink down, like something sat down. And as I felt it sink down, I heard the bed springs creak. I couldn't look. I just could not look. And I lay there for I don't even know how long. And my heart felt like it was going to explode.
Pounding.
Pounding. And then,
sorry.
it lifted back up. And as it lifted back up, the bed springs creaked again, like somebody got up. My door never opened. I had my door shut. My door never opened and closed. And I never looked to see what it was. But that was terrifying for me.
Now can I speak?
No, I'm gonna read Eilish's story here. Maybe it wasn't as much lucid dreaming, but more of an out-of-body experience. I was laying still in bed one night, and then I suddenly felt really light, like I was floating. And then I turned my head, and I could see myself laying in my bed, but I was looking over it, like I was literally out of my body. It was really creepy and scary, but cool at the same time. I've always wanted to fly on my own, not on a plane or anything, and so the feeling of being out of my body was such a weird sensation. Oh, and Alfiniki is trying to learn astral projection now.
What does that mean?
Astral projection is where your body is in one place, but your spirit is somewhere else. You're projecting yourself to be somewhere else, and it could be another. Too? I believe it's interdimensional travel, right? If I got that correct. And Eilish, to get back to your story, that is crazy. And as I'm reading your story, I was thinking of astral projection actually before Alfiniki had written that. And you had a genuine out-of-body experience. I mean, that was just, I've never heard of that. I've never heard of someone, actually experiencing it before. I've heard of it though. That's crazy. And did it only happen that one time? And what do you think caused it? Do you think there was something unique about that particular night that's why it happened? Did something happen around that time, or were you thinking about something, or was there some kind of medical thing going on? I don't know. I mean, just think about that and try to figure out why it was just that one time. Okay, and Julia, hi Julia. Julia's saying when her dog played with his Kong to get a treat out, it makes a certain sound hitting a hardwood floor, and I would hear it down in the basement. Recently I heard that sound. This was 2 days after we picked my dog's ashes up from the vet.
What?
We had to put him down because of cancer. I'm so sorry, Julia. But yeah, I have heard of animals staying behind too. As a matter of fact, one of our cats, Merlin, he passed away several years ago.
I want to talk about it.
Okay, you can talk about Merlin.
He was outside and he got like bitten by a raccoon something.
Yeah.
It could be something else. We're not sure because we didn't see anything.
He had gotten out, and he was not an outdoor cat at all. And so he had accidentally gotten outside, and we're speculating that he was bitten by a raccoon because he had a puncture wound in his leg, and it looked like it was like a bite, but it was just one puncture. So we had no idea. But anyway.
And I remember that he had like a clear skin, like it was like pink somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he had to walk with 3 legs, but like he could like he still had the other leg though, but he just had to like walk like he's like hopping or something, wherever it was, and he died. Like, I remember it was like 2009 something.
Raven, we need to move on. Okay, so anyway, this cat, after he passed, we used to feel like we sensed him there still, basically, right? And so and Julia she has more to tell us. She writes that that same day we had to put him down, I received an excellent phone call. Travis Aaron Wade called after reading my tweet to him about what happened. My story broke his heart. Wow, that is so, Travis is an amazing human being, and I'm not surprised that he did that. He really genuinely does care about the fans, and that's very sweet. And then again, I'm very sorry, Julia, that you had to experience the loss of your dog. you know, my pets are, you know, like my kids too. And
What?
when they're not well, it's heartbreaking. When something happens to them, it's heartbreaking too.
Yeah.
Okay, an alpha wolf. Okay, can you explain something to me? Okay. What can I explain to you? I'm waiting.
Can I tell you a story?
What story?
I think you have heard of it though. Well, I was playing tag with my two brothers that were playing with me, and like a corner hallway where the front door and the basement was, and I saw like a shadow guy that is a ghost. Like he looked like he went to like a date or something, but he was all black. But I couldn't see any of him, like what he looked like. But he looked like he was going on a date, and he was like cleaning on the garbage there, and he was like looking at the basement or something.
That's very creepy. That's very creepy. Okay, so Alpha Wolf writes, one night I was lying in my room and no lights were on, and all of a sudden I see a white glow go past my door. Do you know what it would be? And Eilish is writing, was the glow in your room or was the glow outside of the door? And the way I interpret it is that you were in your room and then you saw through the bottom opening of your door a light go past through the hallway. At least that's how I interpreted it. It could have been an orb. It could have been. It definitely doesn't sound natural. It definitely sounds supernatural. Yeah, Alpha Wolf. That's how I interpreted it outside of the door. Yeah, that's how I would have seen it. That's how I would have interpreted it too. Guys, what do you think it was? I mean, glowing, something glowing. Whenever Phoenix sees something and it's glowing, he says it's a ghost. He also sees shadow people, which obviously don't glow. They it's like looking into a void. But it sounds like in your case it was a ghost. My door, oh, your door was open. My apologies, because your door was open and like a full white thing big enough to fit my door went right past it. That was an entity. That sounds like an entity, a ghost. Wow. And so what did you do when you saw that? How did you react to that? Did you respond to it? Because me, I would have been crying like a 2-year-old. I would have been terrified. I'm scared, just because, just because we have a lot of these experiences, it doesn't make it easier. They're scary.
Even though have you in your dream though, but it was like a tornado, and I had a tornado in school, and Miss Locke, it's kind of my teacher, and Mom had like a meeting, and they were talking in the meeting, and I didn't know what the.
Does this have anything to do with ghosts?
No, but okay. It's weird though.
Okay, well, hurry up because we're running out of time. We only have a few minutes left.
Just go.
Okay. All right. So, Alpha Niku is saying that what Alpha Wolf experienced could have been an angel, according to some traditions.
Angels?
Interesting. That's interesting. And then Julia is saying that lately the touch lamp in my bedroom is turned on by itself twice. Happens between 2 to 3 a.m. Wow. Yeah, especially if it's something that's like ritually, like the same time every day. It could be a residual haunting, or it could be something trying to communicate. Alpha Wolf saying, I was just thinking, is my grandpa watching over this house?
Maybe.
That could be. That could be.
Can we speak? Maybe ghost trying to contact you to get your attention, or
Mm-hmm.
angels, predators. Wait.
Protectors.
Well,
some people say protectors, angels, ancestors,
What?
etc. glow when they visit you.
Maybe they're trying to contact you to get your attention to like what. It's pretty hard to explain, but it's trying to get your attention.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Alpha Wolf saying, even hear you talking about it, I felt cold, like someone was here just now. Wow. And Eilish is saying, yeah, I'm doing some research and everything's showing up as balls of energy or spirits are trying to communicate or reach out to our world.
What?
Imagine that. Imagine being, you want to interact and communicate with your loved ones and you can't, and I don't know. It's just, it's baffling. It's really baffling. But I believe all of you. I believe all of your stories, and I believe your stories hold, true. And it's for me. And I wonder, did you ever share your stories with other people, and were they as open to it as we are here in this forum? Because whenever I spoke about what happened with me and what happened with Raven, what happened with Phoenix, and what happened with Jade, like all of those stories, people are like, yeah, it could have been this, could have been that, blah, 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 blah. Well, I'd like to consider myself semi-intelligent, and yes, I did consider those things as well, but it didn't quite fit. And Alfiniku saying, pay attention to your dreams. If you feel there's someone trying to communicate with you, they usually use our dreams to reach out.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard that as well. And then Alpha Wolf is saying, Eilish, my Seneca teacher says that the balls of energy like light orbs are that they're Seneca, which is, what is a Seneca witch? Okay, so Seneca is, I've never heard of that. And then Eilish is saying, I very rarely remember my dreams, but whenever I do remember a dream, they always come true in the future, like exact detail for detail, even if it happens months or years after I had the dream. I just get like a deja vu moment. That happens to me. I want to say maybe like a couple, 2-3 times a month, I have those moments, those absolute deja vu moments where I know it's not deja vu. I know it's not, and I feel it, and it actually triggers anxiety and panic attacks for me. So I have to step back, and not, once I start getting wrapped up in it, I have to take steps back, or else it triggers panic and anxiety in me. And but I know exactly that feeling that you're talking about.
Like you can't sense it.
Yeah. I'm missing someone's comment here. Okay. Oh, and Alfiniku, to my question earlier about, are people as open to your stories? Alfiniku saying, now Mexicans will answer with a bunch of stories of their own. Eilish is saying, I very rarely remember my, no, I'm sorry. I just read that comment. My apologies. Alpha Wolf, that's the comment I missed. Native American witch, a Seneca, which is a Native American witch. Okay, I did not know that. Obsessive brunette, hey, some of this is making me laugh so hard, although I must admit I think it goes to spirit or something has saved my life a few times outside. About 3 weeks ago, I was out for a walk when I stepped onto the road. A car came out of nowhere and almost hit me, but I suddenly felt something pull me back onto the pavement. I looked around and I couldn't see anyone. The experience freaked me out. Wow. That's something. That's something, obsessive brunette.
You're really lucky too.
Yeah.
I guess there was a good ghost, I guess.
Well, I mean, thankfully, whatever was looking after you was looking after you. But let me ask you this. What do you mean some of this is making you laugh so hard? We're not talking about funny things. This is scary stuff.
Some of them are making me laugh. But
in Seneca, thank you, Alpha Wolf. Seneca is a Native American tribe. Thank you for clarifying that. Well, I see we just have about 5 more minutes left. So if y'all have anything you wanted to share with us, Now's the time. And I'm really glad that I did this episode because I didn't expect such a great response to it. And I'm getting some really great stories from you guys. And if you would like to see another episode, dedicated to this, just let me know in the comments below when the video loads. And I would be happy to schedule another episode where we talk more about this. Okay, and Alpha Wolf is also saying, and conspiracies contact you through like birds, because I hear when you see a red robin, it means that one of your loved ones is trying to show you that they're there. Yes, yes. We were talking about this today.
Yeah.
Okay, because I had a medium at my home back in Jersey a long time ago who was able to tell me crazy stuff that there's absolutely no way anybody on this earth would know. So I got a sense that he was legit. And one of the things he told me was that whenever I see, not a robin, but a cardinal.
Yeah.
When he told me, whenever I see a cardinal, that is a sign from my mother that she's there. And I was seeing cardinals like they were going out of style. It was crazy.
And every day, well, sometimes though, but when I go to school on my bus, sometimes I see red cardinal.
Yes, you were telling me that today too.
Yeah, I think my mom's is there watching me, like how good I am doing school, I guess, or could be anything.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Alfini Q said that she once saw a man wearing a top hat when she was trying to astral project, and it was reaching out and trying to touch her, and it was terrifying. Wow. Wow, that is terrifying. You know, we need to have a whole other episode on this because we're almost out of time, and I really don't want to stop, but we have to because she needs to eat and go to bed. And and Alpha Wolf, you see robins every day, even during the winter. That's crazy. That is really crazy.
That means could be anyone.
Yeah. So what I want to do, unfortunately, I got to wrap it up. But I want to thank you all for being so amazing and interactive and giving me great stories and allowing me to share mine with you and Ravens with you guys. Oh, the Cardinals. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing another episode like this very soon. Next week, I'm just confirming my guest. Hopefully she'll be available. And it's a fan who is an amazing human being. And she's also one of my watchers too. I don't think she's with us tonight, but she will be with us next week, hopefully, and it'll be a great interview. Thank you, Alpha Wolf. I really will do it again. And thank you for watching. I think this is the first time. I'm not sure if this is the first time you've watched, but this is definitely the first time you've chatted. So welcome, and it's very great to see you here and meet you. Same thing for you, Eilish. Alfini Q, thank you for everything. And I just heard the doorbell and my dinner is actually here. Perfect timing. So
that's really fun episode.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you all, and think of some good stories that either you or some family members or from friends that you've experienced, and we'll all share them.
Hey, Mom, he's subbed.
What?
That means he subscribed.
Oh, you just subscribed. Thank you. I don't know the lingo. Well, thank you for subscribing. I'm excited. Saved by the Bell, Julia. Thank you, Julia, as well. I appreciate it. And again, my condolences on your loss. I'm very sorry. And Eilish, thank you. I'm glad to hear that you'll be watching again. Woohoo! And thank you for the bon appetit, which is in Spanish, actually. Yay, buen provecho. Did I say that right? I don't know.
Wait, she knows Spanish?
Yes.
I know.
You're Mexican, yeah?
I know one Spanish.
What was the most important? We just talked about this again today, actually. The most important sentence in Spanish is?
Where's my bathroom? But I don't know how.
Well, I was trying to teach you to say "Donde está el cuarto de baño?" Because that's.
I know one. It's in May 5th. 2000. Wait.
Cinco de Mayo?
Yes. I know how to say that. See? Cinco de Mayo.
Yes, and El Finicky is Mexican. ¿Dónde está el baño? Yeah. Oh, okay. Is that how you say it? They told me in high school it's cuarto de baño.
¿Dónde está el baño?
Yeah, that's how you say where's the bathroom? I was saying all those extra syllables when I could have been peeing already. Damn, my life's been a lie.
Mom,
stop. Okay, go get ready for dinner. So good night.
All right, see you next.
We'll see you next week, and we'll plan another episode with this topic. Raven had a good time. I had a good time. Hopefully you had a good time. Thank you all, and I will see you next week. Good night.